Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. Today is February the 2nd, 2020. I like the numbers. It's a cool date, 0202-2020. And so a few things I wanted to touch on today before I dive into what I wanted to talk about today. One of them is I know that we had said we were going to launch the platform today. And a lot of people have been writing in saying that I'm excited about the platform, and so the platform is like just another website we were launching where I would be able to do events and things like that. We've had to. What we're doing is we have kind of created the homepage. We've had a lot of interruptions, shall we say. Boo, would you like to comment on that? And so we won't be able to do a full-on launch today. I'm a little bit disappointed, but then these things happen. Boo?
Yes, there has been quite a few little setbacks, including when we were initially going into the final build a week ago, and we actually ended up blowing up the server.
Okay, so that was what it was. And also, I guess you have people in the IT team in the background who are helping you build it, some of whom are kind of away at the moment, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So we're sort of just trying to hold all the pieces together until we can get all the professionals back in the room again.
Yes, so we'll have that back on track really, really soon, and we'll keep you informed. But we have so much going on that I'm fine with it. I was actually getting a little overwhelmed, to be honest with you. But the platform is actually going to be my virtual sanctuary where, we can have, I guess it will help people who are empaths and people who need healing and all kinds of things. So I wanted to just show you what it looks like. The home page looks like. Maybe you can punch that up for everyone. So it kind of looks like you're entering a place, a building, but it's a virtual sanctuary. So that's kind of what we have in store for you. But more importantly, let's move on to today. So a lot of you have written to me. You've remembered that today was the day that I crossed over 14 years ago. So that was 14 years ago, where I feel that from that day, I was reborn into a new life. So technically, I'm 14 years old today. So I decided to wear my most colorful jacket, which I literally only bought 2 weeks ago, and today's the first day I'm wearing it, and my bright t-shirt. I feel like I look like a birthday cake. If I were ever to get a birthday cake for myself, it would be one of those that when you slice it, you can see all the rainbow colors in layers. That's the kind of birthday cake I would want if I ever had a birthday cake. Kind of like this. It would look exactly like this. I love this jacket. I just bought it 2 weeks ago, but I just kept it there and kept looking at it and thought I'm going to wear it on February the 2nd because today I'm officially 14 years old. And I decided that since I'm 14, since I'm a teenager, I am going to relive being 14. And so I'll probably start to become a little bit more rebellious as we move forward, because the first time around when I was 14, I didn't have a great time. I didn't enjoy my teenage years. I didn't enjoy being at school. I hated being at school. I was bullied so badly during exactly these years, from the age of about 13 to about 16, 15 or 16, were like my worst years, where I absolutely hated school, and I didn't fit in at all. And so now, having a second chance to come back and relive my life over, I'm going to do it different this time. And I'm going to make sure that every day I'm just going to be joyful and happy and be like, and relive those years again in the way I want it to be lived. So there you have it. Also, today has given me a chance to even reflect over the last 14 years about all the things that I guess that not only the things that I've done, but the things I've experienced with all of you. And I was feeling a tremendous amount of gratitude yesterday, and now today. But yesterday it was like there was this big wave of feeling, wow, I am so grateful for my life and where it is right now, and what I'm doing, because I would have had no idea before the NDE and when I used to struggle, not just when I struggled with the illness, but all those years ago when, even when I was at school, when I was a kid, when I was being bullied. And I wasn't bullied as a really little child, but the worst years were my teen years. They were absolutely the worst years I can think of. And yeah, they really were. And I don't look back at them with regret or resentment, or at resentment for any of the people that caused it. But in fact, I actually feel gratitude that I had the opportunity to go through that, because it's made me into the person I am today. Everything in my past has made me into who I am today. And so that's the kind of, that's what I mean when yesterday I was feeling this wave of gratitude. There was this gratitude that I had this opportunity, that I have been given this opportunity to live my life in the way I want to live it, and to take back my power, and to take back, I guess, the power, the control, the reins, or the creativity of life. Because I believe that we actually co-create our lives. And when we're little, we don't realize we co-create our lives. And so we end up being victims of our circumstances. But as we grow up, we need to realize that we take part in what happens to us. We also have a part in it, no matter what it is. And we're not just victims where random things happen to us. And so it took nearly dying for me to really, really realize that, and to really move my life in a direction that feels so good for me. And the biggest gratitude I felt, as I felt this wave of gratitude yesterday, the biggest gratitude I felt was for all of you who listen in, who tune in, and who write in. You cannot imagine how much your words actually help me. When I read your comments, when I read some of the letters that you send to me, when I read the feedback. And it's why I share what I share, because it actually makes me cry. Many of your letters actually make me emotional. You make me cry, and in a good way. I love it. I love it when I hear from you, how when you say to me that listening to your story and listening to what happened to you really helped me through my illness. It gave me the will to live. It gave me the hope to survive, and so on. And I love it when I hear that, because it means I'm contributing something meaningful to the world. And that is what's really important to me. And this also feeds into the topic that I really wanted to talk about. And that topic was thought viruses. One of the reasons I like sharing my story is because I want people to know that this can happen. I want people to know that your body has the capacity to heal from no matter whatever condition it's in, as long as you're willing to take that power back and take charge of your life again. And that is what I really want people to know, which is why I share my story. But again, before I get into that piece, I also just want to say that over the 14 years, some of the lessons that I learned on the other side that has helped me the most during these years, I just wanted to share one or two of them. And it's not that my life has been super smooth and super easy, but it's just that I've had certain things to lean on that have helped me through them. When you know things, when you see things differently, when you can see things and see how you co-create things, and when you have tools and when you have strength, it doesn't mean that no negative things happen to you. It just means that you're better equipped to deal with them. That's all it means. Like, no matter who you go and listen to, no matter even if you go and listen to the Dalai Lama or Thich Nhat Hanh or any teacher, any spiritual power, any guru, anybody who's talking about philosophies of life and giving you tools and tips on how to live life, no matter what, how it appears on stage, even no matter how I appear when I'm standing on stage really strong, sharing with you, or here behind the camera, I want you to know that our lives are not smooth sailing all the time. As long as we are in the physical body, there are going to be things that we're going to be dealing with on a day-to-day level. There always are going to be things. But the difference with having a different view, like I truly believe that I have a part in creating everything that happens to me, it gives me a different view of life, of myself, my part in life, and life as a whole, and it gives me a different view of what everyone else is going through as well. And it makes me less likely to take responsibility for other people's problems, which I now know that they have had a hand in co-creating. So it gives you a different view. So one of the biggest lessons that I learned is that we really do have a big part in co-creating our lives. We are not victims. That's a big lesson that I learned. But probably the very biggest lesson I learned is that you have to love yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. It really does. And it's not selfish to love yourself. That's the biggest lesson I learned, because I really thought it was selfish to love yourself. That is the one biggest lesson that saved my life. I would love to hear from you, whether in the comments or whether you write in to me through my website. I would love to hear what the biggest lesson from the things, either from your own life or from the things I've said. So what I would love to hear from you is, from all the things you've heard me say in interviews, videos, from my books, what is the one thing that really struck out for you the most or helped you the most? Because I would love to hear that, so that I can expand on those subjects and go deeper into them. And when you write questions to me, the kinds of questions I love are where you say something like, you talked about something, something, something. Could you expand on that more? I love questions like that. So when you write in to me, when you write in the comments, please let me know, from the things I've said, what is the one thing that struck out to you the most and helped you the most? Or what is the one thing you would like me to expand on more? That's what I would love to hear. But for me, if I had to pick a couple of things that I feel that I rely on the most, the one thing would be, love yourself like your life depends on it, because it really does. And loving yourself is not selfish at all. The reason it's not selfish is because when you take care of yourself, you have more resources to be there for other people. When you don't take care of yourself, you feel drained. And there are, like right now, I speak a lot, in the recent weeks I've been speaking a lot about being an empath. The thing about being an empath is that when an empath does not love themselves, an empath is constantly running on low energy. They have no energy reserves. And an empath's focus then becomes about whether the other person is toxic or not. Here's the thing. When you love yourself and you have a ton of energy reserves, you don't care if somebody is toxic or not. You have so much energy that you barely notice. And this is why I rarely use the term toxic people, or rarely refer to other people as being toxic, because they may not be toxic at all. It could be that they're not good for you right now, but it could be because you're super drained. And this is why I always say, love yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. When you love yourself, you can tell immediately if somebody is actually draining your energy because that's the way they are wired, or whether it's because it's because they are genuinely needing help, and you can be there to help them because you have energy reserves with which to help people. So it's so important to love yourself. And the people who struggle the most with loving themselves are people who are super empathic, people who are who are so empathic that they become people pleasers, people who excuse me, People who are non-confrontational, they find it the hardest to love themselves. And so you need to realize that you have this tendency, and you need to work on loving yourself even more. When you love yourself, you fill yourself with light and love so that you have enough to share, because you take yourself wherever you go. The more filled you are with love, the more you light up a room. And if you don't fill yourself with love, you become depleted and drained. And when you're depleted and drained, you feel the need for other people to fill you with love. You become needy. So when you think about it, who would you rather sit next to? Would you rather sit next to someone filled with love and overflowing with love, or someone who's empty and drained and who's needy because they don't love themselves? So in fact, it's more selfish not to love yourself. Another reason why you need to love yourself is because you are an expression of God. You're an expression of spirit. And you are a living spirit. Your spirit, your soul, is what channels God energy through you. And if you don't love yourself, you are depriving God or God energy from expressing itself through you. That's why it's important. You came here as a soul with an intention to express yourself. And when you don't love yourself, you prevent your soul from doing that. You don't have the right to do that. It isn't actually even fair to yourself, your soul, or to God energy or the universe to do that, because that is your intention for being here. So love yourself so that you allow your soul to express itself through this physical body. So the number one most important lesson that I learned from the other side was love yourself like your life depends on it. And that is what has carried me through these 14 years. They haven't always been easy. My life has got bigger in a way that I didn't expect it to. I am so grateful for it. Looking back at the kid I was at school, the kid who everybody bullied, there is no way that I would have expected my life to turn out the way it has. And for that, I'm grateful to all of you, because I couldn't have done it without all of you. I'm so grateful. The second thing that is so important, which I learned that has really carried me through, is that we are more than physical beings. This world will constantly try to convince you that you are just a 5-sensory, 3-dimensional physical being. Every paradigm we have created here, whether it's our medical paradigm, our educational paradigm, our governments, our mass media, all of these, it's almost like they all conspire to try and convince you that you are a 3-dimensional, 5-sensory physical being who has to fear for their life. Like, they put you in survival mode all the time. Survival mode is what makes you sick. Survival mode is what wears down at your immune system. Survival mode is what tears you down. And had I continued to buy into that, I don't think I could continue to live. You need to know, and this is a big lesson, you need to know that you are a soul. You are a spiritual being. You are an expression of God. You are so much more than a 3-dimensional, 5-sensory physical being. So much more. And the part of you that is non-physical is much greater, like much greater, so much greater. Like the iceberg. Go back and watch my Tip of the Iceberg and Law of Attraction video, where I explained to you how much more of you there is than just the physical body. It is so important to know that. And that is what takes me to the topic that I actually want to speak about a little bit more about today, and that is thought viruses. What keeps us entrenched in this 3-dimensional physical world is our beliefs about them, our thoughts about them. A lot of people have written to me lately about what do I think of the coronavirus and the fears surrounding it. And people are saying that they're worried because of their kids. So here's what I want to say about not just the coronavirus, but of everything. Personally, I feel the thought viruses are worse than the actual physical viruses. When you look around at any kind of virus, whether it's a flu or whether it's a coronavirus or anything, or even when people speak about cancers and diseases and they say this causes cancer and that causes cancer and that causes cancer. So here's the thing I want you to ask yourself. If something actually causes that illness, why is it that not everybody in that environment has it? You will always notice that not everybody has it. What is the difference between the people that have it and the people that don't? Whether it's the coronavirus or whether we say, oh, being out in the sun causes cancer and so on. Now, I'm not undermining the things that are going on. I want you to know that I'm very aware that of actually what's taking place. I totally sympathize with the people who are going through the coronavirus and all these things. But my point is that one of the things that is so important is for you, what is really important for your physical body is a healthy immune system. It's really important. Then what's really important is when you realize that the healthy immune system is super important, we need to realize, or we need to understand, what feeds a healthy immune system. So the things that feed a healthy immune system, of course, the things you ingest play a part in it. Good clean water, good clean foods, clean whole foods. But also what plays a big part in it is your reason for wanting to be alive, your reason for living, your passion for life, your purpose. If you have no reason for living and you're not committed to living and you think, oh, I hate my life, I wish I was dead, I wish I wasn't alive, all these things are thought viruses that contribute to depleting your immune system. And your body is so smart that it will, not only will it break down because you are actually depleting your system by saying, I really don't want to be here. I hate life. Life is so tough. Why was I born? So not only are you breaking down your immune system, but you are also creating, your body is so smart that you are giving it an opportunity to create a way out for you. And so this is what I mean about thought viruses. We actually co-create the circumstances in our lives much more than we realize we do. And I don't want you to start fearing your thoughts, because your thoughts don't manifest like in a moment or in a second, but it is more to do with the emotions underneath. It's like when you really don't want to be here or you're not committed to be here. But here are other ways that I want to mention to you how thought viruses work. It's when you live in an environment where they convince you that you are going to get a particular virus or something, and you don't realize that if I have a strong immune system, I'm not going to get it. Instead of focusing on strengthening your immune system, you're focused on the fear of getting the illness. Does that make sense to you? So where we're at now is with all the spread of everything that's going on. What's being spread is the fear of getting the illness. So it's not just the coronavirus. The same thing happens with illnesses like even cancers, because I bought into that fear myself, that I was going to get cancer. I bought into it. And instead of focusing on having a passion and a love for life, instead of realizing that I was buying into a thought virus and focusing on changing the way I viewed life, I allowed myself to buy into that fear and do everything to prevent cancer, as opposed to doing everything to live life fully. So it's a very different way of looking at things. I've shared this story before, but I'm going to share it again right now really quickly, is that when I was dealing with the illness, and I prefer to just refer to it as an illness. I don't usually like to label it as a cancer, because I honestly believe that even the word cancer is a thought virus. So when I was going through the illness and I removed myself and I took myself to India and away from my environment, where everybody was just using the term of the illness that I don't like to use, and they were referring to it, and so that's what they were doing in my old environment in Hong Kong. I wanted to get away from that and change my mind, my state of mind. And when I did, I went away for 6 months, and my physical body improved drastically, like drastically. When I came back to my old environment, where everybody was hung up on me insisting that I needed to go back to the conventional way of having the scans and checking where it was at, and having the thoughts put in by the oncologist. Now, I want to say here, not all doctors are bad. Many doctors are great, and many are reaching out and saying that they completely agree with what I'm saying. But at that time, what was happening is that even though my health was improving, the fact that it was still there is this thought virus that was being planted in my head. It is still there. It can turn around at any time. That was a thought virus. That thought virus was what ate away at me. And that thought virus was what broke me down. That's what I'm trying to say. If I was surrounded by people who said, no, of course you can do this. Of course you can beat it. Of course you can, of course that it's getting less. And if I was surrounded by a different way of viewing the illness and my body and the world, it would have been a very different story. Again, I don't regret it, because I had to go through what I went through to get to where I am today. So I am so grateful for that. I'm truly grateful. But I wanted to mention this because I really feel it'll help so many of you. And I want to just give you a couple of tips on how to do that. So, for example, there was one person who wrote to me quite some time ago, and she was healthy, went for a checkup, was told to have mammograms, and then she was diagnosed by her, she was then sent to see an oncologist, and she was diagnosed by the oncologist as having stage 0 breast cancer. This blew my mind. This blew my mind that there is even such a thing as stage 0. Doesn't that mean you don't have it? So here's what continued to happen, was that she wanted to heal the stage 0 breast cancer. Bless her. She was like the most amazing, beautiful woman ever. But hearing that news took the life force energy out of her. And that is the tape that kept playing in her mind. And then to top it off, her oncologist actually suggested that she should have a double mastectomy as a prevention. That totally blew my mind, because now he had planted a thought virus in her, and her life revolved around trying to heal that stage 0 so it would not even show up as a stage 0. Otherwise, she would have to have a double mastectomy. That plagued her. She was miserable. That is what thought viruses do. And as I watched, I felt that she was looking less and less healthy from the day she received that piece of information. So the thing that I want you to know, if anybody ever plants a thought virus like that in your mind, whether it's about the coronavirus, whether it's the result of a test you had, so I want you to know this. People in the 3-dimensional world, because I want you to know you are not a 3-dimensional being. You are more than that, much more than that. You are a soul, you have a purpose, you have a reason for being here. So when people plant that in your mind, that is a thought virus, and they are coming from a 3-dimensional perspective. They think of themselves and you as pure 3-dimensional beings. What do I mean when they think that way? What they do is, when you don't realize that there's more to you than the physical, you think the world is random. You think that things happen to you randomly, that it's so random you get sick, that it's random that you get cancer, which makes you a victim of your circumstances. The world doesn't work that way. When you look at it through a different lens, and so many of you already get it, I know that. And once you get it, once you see the world a certain way, you can't unsee it. And when you see it the way that I am a spiritual being, where am I blocking out my spirit? What am I doing? How can I improve my energy? So basically what I'm inviting you to do is I'm inviting you to look at yourself as a spiritual being and say to yourself, what am I deficient in? Now, what you could be deficient in could be something in your own physical body. It could be something that your body needs some more nourishment and nutrition. But look at it from the spiritual view. Look at it from what I call the God's eye view. So the idea here is what I would like you to do every time you get trapped in a thought virus of whether it's a coronavirus or a diagnosis or anything. I want you to step out of your physical body and I want you to look at it from a God's eye view. Because when you leave your body, you have like a God's eye view over you, your life, over all of you. And when you look at yourself from the God's eye view, here's what I want you to ask yourself. What do I need to take my physical body from where it is right now to absolute wellness? What do I need? What do I need? How do I need to support it? I love myself so much. I love my body so much. I am going to create a plan and a trajectory of health. I am no longer going to focus on the trajectory of the illness that this person is trying to plant into my mind. I reject that because I co-created this life. I co-created it. I brought it to where it is now. I did it. I can undo it. I can absolutely undo it. And let me see what the resources I need to do this. And then ask your soul, ask your spirit, ask God, ask yourself from the God's eye perspective. What do I need to create complete wellness? If the situation is not about your health, but it's from maybe it's a lack of abundance, maybe you're struggling with money, ask yourself, what do I need? And you are not a victim of your poverty. So many people write and say, I don't have money, I'm broke, and a lot of the languaging. And one of the reasons I keep bringing up victim, and people say, some people will say, yes, I know we're not a victim. But whereas the languaging that is used in many of the questions that I receive, it suggests that you think you're a victim of your circumstances. Because even if you are struggling with money, even if you are poor, at some level, you have contributed to co-creating that situation. I am not victim blaming here, but what I am doing is saying that you can take responsibility to climb out of your situation no matter what it is. Remember, I was at death's door. The doctors said that I wasn't coming back. Everybody can take this view, this God's eye view, no matter where you are in life, no matter what you're at, take this God's eye view and say, I need to get myself from where I am now to optimum wellness. And it's not about blaming where you are. You should not blame yourself. You couldn't help it. You didn't know better. So there's no victim blaming here. But it is about taking responsibility, because if you stay a victim, you will continue to wallow in that and allow that to continue to happen. So it is about taking responsibility and saying, and allowing your soul, your God's eye view, to take the responsibility. And that's where the self-love comes in, because this God's eye view, God, Spirit, has to love you, all of you enough, your physical body enough, to create the circumstances to take you to full health or to full abundance or whatever it is that you are needing. And so the first step might be I do need to learn to love myself. In which case, go back and start watching episode 1 of Tea with Anita from about 3 months ago. So the first step is I need to learn to love myself. The first step might be, I need to up my immune system. Or the first step might be I need to look at my beliefs about money. So you need to create a plan that works for you. That plan could include bringing in a team. It could include bringing in people to support you, bringing in people who think like you, who see the world in the way that you are aiming to see the world. You need to be with people who are not going to continue to feed you thought viruses that keep you in three-dimensional thinking. You need to be surrounded by people who think in more four-dimensional, six sensory and so on way of thinking, who know that you are more than a physical being. You need, if you are getting a coach or someone to help you facilitate your healing, you need to be with people who will think that way. Even if you are going for a conventional doctor, conventional medicine, you need to have conventional medical doctors who do see that spontaneous healing is absolutely possible, and it's not a random act that happens. It is something that people do contribute to creating the environment or the circumstances to make it happen. So you do need even medical doctors that are much more open to this kind of thing if you choose to go for conventional medicine. This takes me to the first of a couple of questions that I've received in the last couple of weeks, and this next one will help you also deepen what I have just said. I would like to pull up on the screen, Boo, the question from, I think it was from Ariana, somebody. And I have a screen here, but unfortunately my mouse is acting up. Okay. Arina Sterner. Arina Sterner says, Anita, I know you have said many times, and your healing from cancer showed this, that the body has the capacity to heal itself. Would it not be even more beneficial to assist people that by trusting our body to heal itself, it does? In my view, we do not need anything from the outside in order to heal. No vitamins, homeopathic remedies, etc. But as long as we keep taking in something, manipulate the body with what we think is best, it does not have to do anything because it is already and it has taken care of us by taking a pill or similar. Okay, so thank you, Arina, for that question. I loved that question. And from my understanding of what you're saying is, you're saying that the message should be that the body has the capacity to heal itself. And I should not be saying that we should see a homeopath or we should see an NET practitioner or anybody else. So here's the issue. When you are, nobody is an island. When you are by yourself, it is absolutely about knowing that your body has the capacity to heal. That is absolutely the first step. But the point is, you don't have to do it on your own, because that can be very scary for a lot of people. The point is that what brought me down the first time round before I had the NDE, because remember, most people who are reading this, most people who are reading my book and so on, are not having NDEs. So the first step is to know that yes, your body can do it. Your body has the capacity to heal. It absolutely has the capacity to turn around. But as you go out there and deal with things like stresses in the world, like normal stresses every day of going out to work, and you feel your immune system coming down and being depleted, you have a choice of going to somebody who believes in a three-dimensional, five-sensory world where we are victims of this. Or, you know, when you want to build your body up, you have a choice of going to someone like that to build up your immune system. Or you have a choice of going to someone who knows that you are someone so much more. This is why I suggest NET as opposed to conventional for building up your immune system. The other thing about that is that when we go to somebody, whether it's a homeopath, whether it's an NET practitioner, whether it's an herbologist, an acupuncturist, they have knowledge in a certain area that we don't have knowledge in. We don't have expertise. I'm not an acupuncturist. I'm not an herbologist. I don't know what supplements exist out there. There are like a bazillion more supplements out there than I know of. So when I tune into my body, and I'm going to give you an example here. When I tune into my body, I will I will say, okay, what does my body need? It's feeling something. What does my body need? Ooh, Danny's reminding me to take a sip of tea. Thank you. Oh, this is good. Rooibos. I like rooibos tea. When I tune into my body will tell me that I need something. It might tell me my hormones are out of balance. So this is an example that actually happened about a month ago. My body told me my hormones are out of balance. But my body and my mind, I am not an herbologist. I'm not good with hormone. I mean, I don't know what's available out there. And if I start to surf the internet is a minefield, and I wouldn't have no idea where to begin. So if I go to somebody who knows about this stuff, then they can tell me what I need. But the idea is to tune into your body and to go to someone who will listen to your body. So let me tell you a true story of something that happened to me. Some time ago, I actually felt that my hormones are imbalanced. I went to a conventional medical doctor. And again, and I say this over and over again because people do write to me and say they are doctors. Not all doctors are like this. There are more and more doctors that are opening up and writing to me and saying they believe everything I say. They recommend my book to their patients, and I appreciate you for that. But for this particular doctor, I went some time ago and I said, I believe I need something to help me balance my hormones. So this doctor then wanted to prescribe me meds which had side effects that I did not want to take. One of the side effects was breast cancer. So of course I did not want to take these meds. And I said, no, I would rather not take these. And the doctor was extremely aggressive. And I said, but it's my choice. I really don't want to take these. I will move on and look for something else. You won't believe this. The doctor actually phoned me after I left and told me that I was making a mistake and said they were going to make an appointment for me to have a mammogram because I needed a mammogram before I started this. And the doctor was super aggressive and fear-based and started to put thought viruses in my head. I refused to buy into it, and I went to see somebody else, an NET practitioner. This is why I recommend NET. The NET practitioner then helped me check my body and said, you are absolutely correct. You have a hormonal imbalance, and here's what I recommend for you, and let's go step by step at the rate that your body can take it. So the NET practitioner worked with my body. I may be able to listen to my body. I know my body has the capacity to heal, but I don't have the knowledge of what is available out there. So sometimes I need to go to people who study those things. And when I discover a modality or a type of something that is super good, that actually works with your body and brings your power back to you and co-creates with you in partnership, those are the things that I bring to you. The things that I will never recommend to you are the modalities that take your power away and make you feel like a helpless victim, because you are not. So that's why I'm so happy that Irina asked me this question, because it gave me an opportunity to explain to you the difference between seeking out help that co-creates with you or seeking out help that makes you feel like a victim of your circumstances and they own the power over your health. It's two completely different things. A wonderful healer will always make you realize that the healing lies within you. They were just there to help you facilitate it, or to show you where the switches are, or to give you something that you needed, or to give you some information you needed for your body to do what it is built to do. So different from going to somebody who thinks that you cannot heal without them or without what they have to offer. Very different. So anyway, I want to go to just one more question from Lou Gaffart. Let's go to that one. From Lou Gaffart says, Lou Gaffart says, oh, and thank you, Lou. I know that you are a regular listener, so I really appreciate you. Lou Gaffart says, in the most recent Tea with Anita on January 19th, which is actually 2 weeks ago, I talked about being attached to an outcome, which makes perfect sense if I'm trying to get something like a certain job. But what if I set the intention to heal whatever ails me? How is that not the same as wanting a specific outcome? How do I set an intention without a specific goal? As an example, if losing 20 pounds is part of my goal, I can remind myself to focus on being healthy instead of changing a number on a scale. But if my intention is to heal, how is it not the same thing as a desired outcome? So here's the way that you can do it without setting your intention, without focusing on the healing. What you do is focus on what your life, what is the life you are trying to create as the healed person. So you're not focused on the healing itself. You're not focused on actually on your body being sick. So the difference, because there's two things here. When you are healing, or when you are trying to heal your body, there's actually two things. One is the life you're trying to create as a healed person. And the second thing is the fear of the lack of healing that you are currently experiencing. So when we are constantly focused on the healing, we end up falling into the trap of falling into the fear of the lack of healing or the lack of health we are currently experiencing. To climb out of that fear of the lack of health we are currently experiencing, the idea is to focus on the life you are trying to create as a healed person. So ask yourself the question of, so who would I be if I was healthy? Who would I be? What would I be doing? What would my life look like? What would my life feel like? What would I be eating? Would I be exercising? So in other words, if you're looking for a life of somebody who is healthy, someone who's super healthy is usually doing different things. They're spending their days doing and being different things than someone who is sick. And I actually feel that for many of us, our illness is in here. It's part of the thought viruses again. So the idea is to change your mindset and start doing the things that the healthy person would do. And it's not just any healthy person, it's the healthy person you would be. The fact that you have this desire to be a healthy person means that it is within you to be so. So start to think in terms of, who would I be if I was a healthy person? What would my life look like? And create a step-by-step plan. Surround yourself with the people who you would hang out with if you were that person that you are aspiring to be. Who are they? Seek them out. And then do what it takes to build up your immune system. Don't focus on the illness, on being sick. Focus on, okay, so now how do I build up my immune system? What does a healthy person take and do to be physically strong? Do they work out? I may not be able to bench press and do 20 bench presses yet, but I can certainly try. I can try to do one of whatever. It doesn't have to be a bench press. So, and it has to be it has to feel right to you. So to give you an example of me, I had a message internally, again, tuning into my own body when I asked, what do I need? Quite recently. And my body said, you need more movement. You're sitting too much. I had been sitting too much at my desk. I'd been sitting far too much working at my computer. the minute I would say to people, oh, I need to exercise more, it would be like, oh, you should work out at the gym. I have this gym. And I was like, no, I am not a gym person. But here's 2 things that I did that have helped me right away. And they are so me. What I've done is I've got a stand-up desk. So when I'm at my desk, I'm standing up. When I'm watching videos and stuff, I'm standing up. The only time I'm sitting down is really when I'm resting, when I'm watching TV. I stand up so much more. So that was one. It's actually not a huge shift, but it has helped me so much. I'm burning more calories every day. The second thing I did, instead of going to the gym, I've gone to dance classes, and it's so much fun. It's groups. It's not even a one-on-one. I prefer the group where you get in a group and everybody's dancing. And why I like that more, I can't dance. I absolutely can't dance, but nobody there cares. There's music that makes me happy. There's people and they're laughing and we're moving. And I go in there and I do it. And sometimes I keep going for an hour, hour and a half. I take little breaks in between, but that's my thing. That's my movement. And I go at my own pace and I can't even dance. So it has to be unique for you. And that's how you don't focus on the illness. You let go of the illness. You do what you would do if you were a healthy person. And it also includes focusing on your passion and your reason to be here and your reason to be alive. So so I hope you got a lot out of today's show. I want to say again, I love hearing from you. I'm so grateful for so many of you. I'm so grateful for those of you who post regularly. I remember a few of you. I remember the names like Lucia Mitro. I always notice your name. William Downs. I always notice your name. I notice on YouTube, I have noticed Nimian Lion. I have noticed Knockout. I noticed your names. I noticed the ones who post frequently. Thank you for doing that. And my apologies for the ones who I haven't mentioned who post frequently. Also, if I often go in and read your comments after a video. I try to like them when I'm reading them, or I click on like or a heart. If I don't click on yours, please know it does not mean I don't approve of your comment. Please know that it's because I haven't seen it, because I'm not on social media all the time. That is one of the things I do for my own health. I do get my team to go in there and just skim through the comments so that I can have inspiration for my topics that I talk about every week. So please keep them coming. Please keep them coming. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Before I sign out, I'm going to turn to Danny to say, have we got any announcements that I have to make? I would love to see you all in Sedona. I would love to see you all in Ottawa. I would love for you to join the platform when it comes up. I would love to see you on the cruise. Anything I'm missing out?
There have actually been a couple of comments from people saying like, so when is the cruise ready to sit for us to sign up?
Ah, see? And so this is a secret. Danny doesn't know I'm saying this, but Danny's been fighting a toothache, so please send him your love and energy. Poor thing. He hasn't been able to sleep the last couple of nights, and that is what has held us back on a few things. So I've been, he hasn't slept well, and we need to get him to a dentist first thing tomorrow, Monday. It's been weekend, no dentists open, so please send him your love and energy. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, thank you very much. Maybe do you want to just talk for 30 seconds or 29 seconds about the cruise?
All right. So the cruise is going to be from September 7th to September 19th. It's 12 days on the Mediterranean out of Venice, and it will be focused on empowering the empath. Whatever type of empath that you are, it is focused on empowering the empath. And we will be in a safe cocoon. We will be cocooned in a safe, happy area, uplifting our energy, doing amazing things, going through intense journeys, meditation journeys, strengthening ourselves, knowing that we have a purpose, And so basically, cruises are always magical because we're away from our own home. We're out in the ocean. So with that added energy, it's always a very powerful experience. I would love for you to join me because I get very excited with cruises. Love them. And I will be in Europe. I'll be in Basel. I'll be speaking in London. Check out my website. I wonder if they're up yet. I'm looking at Boo because Boo is the one that updates my website.
The information from Basel hasn't come to us yet, nor has the London.
Okay, so London, but I do know London is like on the 31st of 31st of August, 1st of September. It's the weekend. It's a weekend event, and Basel is the 4th and 6th of October. So, and the cruise is right bang in the middle of the two events. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please click like and please subscribe and please follow me on Facebook. And if you think that it will help anybody, please feel free to share with them if you think anybody will be helped by any of the things I said. Thank you so very much. Do I need to point down? Have I missed out anything? All good. Thank you all so much, and I can't wait to see you all next week. Bye.